Colonels saw that I was capable and I was willing to work very hard, and they pulled me aside over tea one day and they said, "You're about to go into the Soviet Army, so what are you going to do?" I said, "I don't know, you know, they send conscripts all around, they'll make a choice." No. So they sent me to their branch of special forces that took me on a fascinating journey, including the ability to travel the country as the official Army interpreter for Caroline Scoffield, that published an explosive book. Gorbachev allowed her, a British journalist, access to all of the most secretive parts of the Soviet Army. It was this era of openness, absolutely unbelievable. And I was with her on a 6-month journey, traveling to different locations that allowed me to get on board, for example, the Tu-160.
Yes.
Which is still considered a lethal strategic bomber that can carry, I believe, up to 24 cruise missiles with nuclear warheads. I was actually next to the photographer in this shot as we were flying next to the Tu-95, known as the Bear, in a NATO description, another nuclear bomber. But from there, I actually got an opportunity to train with airborne forces. And this is a nice photo of my comrades and a grainy black and white of me doing the same things as these guys are doing, training. But what I really wanted to talk about is my experience with a branch of Soviet special forces that were absolutely secretive. And no journalist had ever visited the GRU Spetsnaz. Now, when I got there, they asked me, "So what do you do?" And I described my military specialty. And I asked them, you know, "What's your purpose in life?" And the sergeant looked at me, he said, "Okay, I'll break it down to you. At a time of conflict, we deploy in stealth aircraft, land on the outskirts of London, get into the Buckingham Palace, grab the Queen, put her in a bag, take her to the Kremlin." And I said, "Okay." And in my time that I spent with Spetsnaz, I saw their capability, and so did Caroline. And she was just blown away. And she actually writes about this in terms of how well prepared and how lethal they were. And I got a chance to train with these guys. Our mission that we were performing was actually, it started off with a parachute deployment from only 300 feet. Now, those of you who have done skydiving, you typically deploy at about 14,000 feet to give you the time to deploy parachutes. And that day, 300 feet from a helicopter into a dense forest. As you can see, one of my buddies is dangling from a tree. He actually broke his ankle. But it was one of those missions where you just go on. So we cut him off the tree. I took his rifle. We built him a splint, and he drudged along with us through hell and fire, literally. They put us through an extreme course, and it was a mission, where I'm going with this, it was a mission to find and destroy a Pershing II missile. We successfully evaded the teams that were trying to find us. My particular team, I'm proud of that, because a couple of teams were actually captured in the process of the war games. But Karosh, I had learned about the lethality of the Pershing II intermediate range nuclear weapons when I was back in school. In my final grades of high school, we were taught military preparedness as a course, and our major drilled it into us. He said, "Remember, from the time somebody presses a button and a Pershing II missile starts flying from Western Europe to the time it hits us here in Moscow, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. And that was the day that we actually made it. It's not in the book because Caroline never saw it. We actually found it. It was a full-scale model that the Soviet military built of the Pershing II, and I was standing there erect. And I remember my visceral reaction, just my gut. It's like, this is it. This is what's going to kill us all. Now, we found it. We placed demolition charges. We destroyed it. It was in training. But again, a little bit of my background of understanding nukes and having a little bit of intimate detail.
Yeah. Since you mentioned it.
Yeah.